September 19th, 2002 was the day that Our Films was born, and in 13 years, they have grown from a small group of friends filming to merely pass the time, into a family whose passion for film that cannot be matched. From their first moments to their most recent accomplishments, they're a force that can't be stopped. They are Our Films Entertainment, and these are their stories, their lives, behind the camera. With 35 different roles under his belt, this man by far is one of Our Film's biggest assets. A jack of all trades, he's one guy that Our Films is lucky to have. His name is Jeremiah Roberts.
I've been with Our Films since 2005. It was actually a minor role in Round the Bend, which didn't even actually end up in the film. Not many people know about. It ended up in the behind the scenes. But from there, I was in the military from 2004 to 2008 in the Navy as an aircraft mechanic. So I kind of took a sabbatical from films.
With a deep passion in entertainment, Jeremiah's departure into the Navy didn't phase his abilities one bit. Proof of this came in 2008 when he had his first starring role in the found footage suspense thriller, The Third Wheel.
Thanks for the ride, fellas.
No problem. No problem.
So what's your guys' names?
Spencer.
Spencer. Nice to meet you, Spencer.
Steve.
How's it going, Steve? Name's Mike. Mike McGavin.
I played Michael McGavin, the notorious serial killer that's pretty much stalking all the guys, as well as playing myself, who got murdered in the film. Basically, the film was about, just a group of friends that were out on a beer run, and when they did, they went, two of the guys picked up a hitchhiker, and after that, things kind of went awry, and people started dying. I'd say there was a lot of good times on the set. We had a lot of, as always with Our Films, we're always, we take what we do seriously, but in the same breath, we have a good time. There's a lot of laughter, joking around, stuff like that. Hard times, not really. I would say that the fact that we do kind of get off track sometimes kind of slowed things down, but besides that, I don't know, I think everything ran pretty smoothly.
After the production of The Third Wheel, Jeremiah's roles continued to escalate, and his passion grew with every film that was produced. Then, in 2010, all of his hard work paid off when he was casted in Our Film's first ever full-length action film, Justified Vengeance.
What do you think it is? It's Marvace's case file. You sure you want to go through with this?
Give me your radio. Here. Don't fire still. We got shots fired. 34250 courier.
After the positive responses of the film and the success of the first public showing, which was at Marvace's Italian Grill, Our Films was determined to keep pushing forward. But continuing their recent success also meant that they needed to continue casting the way that they had always done. A simple answer to that was Jeremiah Roberts. And with the absence of Anthony Pollock during that time, they needed Jeremiah. So, a few months later, Our Film's history of suspense and horror took another surprising turn, and it was announced that they would be doing their first drama, titled Broken Bonds.
I know about you, Brick, all the shit that happened.
Brick, I told you me and Brick were hanging out. I told you that.
How about the little details you left out about the gambling bets? That you got mixed up with him. And that's the reason that Jill got killed.
Broken Bonds was actually a film that me and Nicholas Barone came up with and wrote together. It was in 2010. We came up with the story, and it was actually a really good one. Basically about this man that comes back from the military. When he was younger, he was really close to his brother and sister, and he was kind of getting in trouble and whatnot when he was younger, and he decided that he needed to get away from that life and go to the military. When he did, I mean, he kind of, in a sense, abandoned his brother and sister, and they kind of went off on their own path. His brother kind of got involved with gambling, debts, and alcoholism, and his sister kind of got involved with one of the local thugs of the town. And when he came back, it was a pretty warm welcome from his friends and whatnot, but right off the bat, he comes back to seeing that his brother's, not doing too well, his sister's off with someone that he doesn't really care for. And within the first few minutes of the film, his sister ends up dying.
All right, let's just do it.
Yeah, he hangs down at this bar down here in the corner, but I don't know. Oh, shit, I don't know. Let's just, she's getting ready to start that car. Hopefully it's warm by now.
And they go to the funeral, which was actually pretty odd, because one of the scenes that we did in the film involved a funeral scene, which we actually had came from an actual funeral. Nicholas, his grandfather had passed away, so kind of added more of it. You can see in the film more of an intensity to what we were doing at the time.
Well, that's the last thing you want to do right now is be by yourself. It's the last thing you want to do.
When you've done it as long as I have,
Don't give me that shit.
and you've been to the places I've been,
Todd, don't start. Don't even start.
being out in the middle of the desert for 3 years, and you tell me,
Stop playing the damn war card.
It ends up with, there's a lot of death, sadness. It's very, very, very emotional film. Me and Nick like to do that sometimes. We like to come up with films that really strike an emotion. I mean, me personally, I love to do films like that. Either a psychological thriller or something that really gets someone watching it. And I mean, honestly, it's kind of screwed up to say, but if someone sheds a tear in watching one of our films, I've reached my goal, to show some kind of emotion. I've been taught for years that it's not necessarily just the skills that you can bring to the camera, but who you're working with. And when it comes to me and Nick, we are always able to have a type of chemistry that just shows up on camera. Justified Vengeance, you can see it, Detective Dale Peters and Detective Alan Barstow. And it's just seeing our characters come together and the way that they just match up is just, you can definitely see the chemistry and how we feed off of each other. There's a scene in Justified Vengeance where we're kind of just going off on each other. And I remember me and Nick, we had like a script, but we just said pretty much screw it. We went off on our own, and I mean, people were upstairs when we were filming, and we just started going off, and all of a sudden people come running down and they interrupted what we were doing. They're like, "Oh my God, you guys really fighting? What's going on?"
What the fuck do you want me to do?
I want you to fucking tell me what kind of proof you have so we can close this shit and you can move on with the rest of your fucking life.
I don't have proof.
That's a bunch of bullshit. I fucking know you do. Oh, hold on me. I've known you for 6 fucking years. We fucking went to the academy together. I stood up in your wedding, christening of your fucking children. Fucking tell me you don't know shit, you blind sack of shit. You fucking tell me what kind of fucking proof you have, and you tell me right now.
So I mean, it's definitely visible when we do our things. Broken Bonds, as I mentioned before, same thing. Definite chemistry, playing brothers and everything like that.
We go play darts?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry.
I'm sorry too.
We definitely have that ability while working with each other. I mean, among other people that I've worked with in our films, we just seem to have that dynamic, that we work really, really well together.
And even though it was never publicly released, Broken Bonds always holds a special place in our films' heart. And it did a lot for our films that horror films never did, which was building a story that people could relate to. And that being said, 2011 came around, and little did they know that it would be their biggest year to come.
I bet you can't top that, can you, Lee? No, I can't, nor would I try, but these gentlemen have made a movie. Maybe they can top that, Cam. The movie is called Phasmaphobia. Did I say that okay?
Yes,
You try it.
Phasmophobia.
They made a movie. We're going to talk about their film and where you can...
Best moment for me, I would say that when we all got on Fox 2 News for Phasmaphobia, the promotion that went on with that. I mean, the first time we did Justified Vengeance, we had going on at Marveso's, which the turnout was amazing for friends and family that loved it and everything. But when Phasmaphobia went on Fox 2 and Brian and Nick went on there and kind of promoted it, and we got to see our trailer for it. It was just amazing just seeing that. I don't know, like, 100,000 people potentially saw that one morning, and it was really nice to see where we are and where we can be. I've always said that as far as our films goes, the individuals that work together, we have the potential to go anywhere we want to go. It's just a matter if we want to do it or not. And just being on the Fox 2 News, that was a sign right there that we do have what it takes to show that we deserve some recognition, and that we can do pretty much anything we set our minds to.
With Phasmophobia and its success under their belts, our films felt that they could conquer the world. But unfortunately, that just wasn't the case. 2011 ended, and 2012 was fastly approaching, and it seemed as if our films was falling apart. And with their 2 full-length films, The Killers Within and The Anniversary, which was the sequel to 2009's Cornered, being their only big films of that year, they were desperate for a change. And it didn't help that our film's members, for the most part, split during that year to pursue other interests. Brian Molka with animation, Sean Jones and his conflicting work schedules, Anthony Pollock with personal training, and Nicholas Barone with school. This left Jeremiah to dive into his many other interests that he'd been putting aside for far too long.
Since I was a little kid, music has always been my number one thing. I'm a singer, songwriter, I write lyrics, play the guitar a little bit. Music has always been near and dear to my heart. It's always been something that I've loved and cherished, and it was a way of expressing myself when I'd get down or sad or happy, anything for that matter. I'd like to freehand draw, anything involving music, acting. I write poetry, just anything to express myself, basically. I love to entertain. I love making people laugh. As far as my actual schooling goes, I've actually been trained as an actor at John Casablanca's modeling and talent agency. It was like a 16-week acting program. Did that in like 2009. I had an agent for a while for Charlie's talent agency for a year. Kurt Howe was my agent. I had some auditions, for like Days of Our Lives and Insane Clown Posse music video and stuff. I never really landed anything. Did some extra work, like a Rob Schneider film, American Virgin, and whatnot. Kind of dabbled, and to this day, I'm still working towards it. It's the life of a struggling actor. But basically, from there, I went to Schoolcraft College, where I got my associate degree in arts. And then I moved on to Madonna University, where I got my bachelor's in broadcast cinema arts, where basically it's TV, film, and radio, where I got the pleasure of interning it with Channel 955 Mojo in the morning. And it was just a great experience.
As we said before, Jeremiah's many interests and passions have always been a huge asset to our films. And with Jeremiah carrying a heavy workload as far as school and his internship was concerned, it seemed as if our films was at a standstill. That was until September of 2013, when our films went under their rebranding. But with rebranding and a fancy new logo, they knew they would need great talent to go with it. And with our film's members Nicholas Barone, Brian Molka, Anthony Pollock, and Sean Jones back on board, it was only necessary that they needed their missing link to return. And in February of 2014, our films got their wish.
Please help. It's the least you could do. You brought me here. It's your fault. Please. Please help me.
Most High God commands you, with whom in your great insolence you still claim to be equal. God, who wants all men to be saved and to come to the knowledge of the truth.
I'm so proud of you.
God the Father commands you. God the Son commands you. God the Holy Ghost commands you.
Who the Trinity?
He was back, and better than ever. And with Jeremiah back in the spotlight, our films felt they were now prepared to take on the world, so to speak. So with that being said, they took on a whole new task, and with the collaboration with Nick Deere of Deer Street Productions and Shane Wheeler and Nick Riley of Slashproof Productions, they took on 2 film festivals, and in both of those cases, came out with multiple awards. And with the recent success, our films couldn't help but remember some of their older films, and how it changed them as a whole. So with that being said, 2 films were remade, 2004's Paranoid and 2009's Cornered. And with Jeremiah's most recent appearances in Cornered and the Iguanodon Files the movie, you could say that his roles have varied more than anybody else involved in our films, and in every aspect possible. You could say that he's pretty much played them all.
I mean, throughout the years, I've played so many different roles that I really, really loved. I enjoyed playing Michael McGavin in The Third Wheel. It was different. I was playing like an older serial killer type. And I mean, I can't go without saying Detective Dale Peters is on my top list too, from Justified Vengeance. Just putting on an accent and doing stuff like that. I always like to challenge myself when it comes to doing different films, and I'm always trying to learn different accents and stuff. And even if it doesn't come out exactly the way I want it to, I consider it a learning experience. I mean, I can look back on it and I can be like, okay, maybe that didn't work as well as I wanted it to, and then I can work with it and shape it and move forward. And just as we all do with our films, it's a constant building experience. I mean, with our films, we tend to, work with other people, and honestly, there was a character I played in one our films worked with Kyle Anthony. We did The Drawing Dead.
Ah, do I have your attention now? Good. My name.
If you do anything stupid, I'll blow your fucking head.
Hera, could you please come in? Looking for this?
I kind of play this guy that's possessed by the devil type deal. He's a card dealer type guy. That was a little difficult role for me to play. It was a little different than anything I've done before. I playing the devil. It's a little darker. I'm used to playing the good guy, so to speak, and that was a little more challenging for me getting there. And then I was trying a new accent, tried Irish, and it kind of came off from here to there, like maybe a little bit of Scottish and everything. But like I said, I definitely learned from everything I do, so it worked out in the long run. As far as like the rebranding from 2013 with our films, I would say that honestly, it's day and night. Our strong suit has always been coming up with stories, scripts, characters. Years ago, maybe our strongest suit was not necessarily camera work, but I know me and Nicholas went to school within the last few years for film and everything, and it definitely shows now in the rebranding. We each bring a different, unique quality to what we're doing now, and it's totally day and night. Now, from back the way it was to what it is now, you can see that everything is it's way better, honestly. Just the quality of film just looks better. It just comes off better. We're actually, and back in the day, we were more or less apt to just, let's put a camera in front of our face and start doing something. Now we actually write scripts, and we actually sit down and talk it out before we do it and everything like that. And we have pre-production, production, post-production, and we actually, it's not just slammed together and everything like that. It's preparation and kind of marketing on Facebook and letting people know what's going on. And it's just totally different. We still have fun doing what we do. We all love it. But you can tell the seriousness, like how much we all love this and the quality of films that we want to bring to the viewers.
With a total of 6 awards between 2 film festivals and a slew of upcoming films slated for production within the next few years, Our Films is nothing but anxious, but more importantly, appreciative, towards everyone involved, including Jeremiah Roberts, whose skill and acting ability have skyrocketed since his early days with Our Films. His devotion and dedication in the art of film has no boundaries, and from his love in music and songwriting, his extraordinary talent in acting, his production work in script writing, producing, and directing, and even the building of his solo company, Irish Rose Productions. He's a jack of all trades, a man who's going places. His name is Jeremiah Roberts.